how do you think, according to you, because you also as an immigrant too, how do you think do immigrants come to balance between their own culture that they come with into Canada and the Canadian culture that is also stronger that they move into, according to you, Baraka?
That's that's a good question, Major. That's because these are the things I never even had a chance to tell you. When I came here,
Yeah.
um, every immigrant that comes here, if we're gonna dive straight into it, they do face challenges. It could be as family,
Mm-hmm.
it could be individual, but they face challenges. They face challenges. It's just, in general just hard. It's just very, very difficult in general. We all know moving from another country to another country
Mm-hmm.
as a newcomer, you have to get adapted to the culture. You have to get adapted to the nature in terms of weather, in terms of language barrier. Because some people might come here, they speak a little bit of English, or they might not speak English at all. They speak a
Wow.
little French, might not speak French at all.
Wow.
So that's I think that in terms of that it becomes a little more challenging for all the immigrants. I'm speaking for myself as I got here. I think that was one of the most uh, difficult things that I had to face,
Yeah.
including family from here. So I feel like the culture, because when you come from Africa,
Yeah.
mainly speaking, coming to Canada, first of all, you face numerous challenges.
Yeah.
Weather is number one of it.
Mm-hmm.
During my time when I came here, I arrived here back in 2008.
Yes.
I feel like that was a different era. It was a different era. It was a different time. But in general, I think that's the common things immigrants from Africa should be aware of facing before even making the decision to come to Canada. You should be aware of facing that coming here, you have to basically start from zero.
Okay.
You have to start from zero, from the scratch. And you have to be expecting people to not understand you
Wow.
as you grow.
Wow.
That's the one thing you have to understand. People won't understand you because of how they were raised here and how you were raised there. How we are raised in Africa. We're raised with everyone. Perhaps will be friendly or talk to everybody in a way,
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
any way they,
Yeah.
you know. And the style of living, the style of going to the market and buy stuff. You talk to people differently. Over here, it becomes a little different. Schools for little kids who come here. That's the first thing you have to learn, that it won't be the same as it is in Africa.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
First of all, they don't beat the kids here. I don't know if they still beat the kids in Africa. I don't know if the system changed.
Yeah.
But
We call it discipline.
discipline, discipline. So
Yeah.
you teach them how to discipline to learn.
Okay. So you don't beat
Um,
your kid here?
no, no.
Okay.
So that was one of the things I feel like coming here, growing up in Africa, you have a different mentality. So when you get here,
Mm-hmm.
you realize the system is very different from African system. So you have to try to adapt to that, because once you lay back a little bit, they see you different. They see you as, oh, this guy is different. And then during my time, of course, that would be now your lack of building connections. So the majority of time, most people were just very, 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 very quiet and very, very alone.
Mm-hmm.
The most biggest transition problem that a lot of immigrants faced. They had to face being alone. They had to face adapting things slowly by themselves,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of them being alone in school, not only alone in school, but alone in the whole entire group.
Mm-hmm.
They will feel like they're alone, they don't belong there. So that's the most challenging things, as a culture that you can compare to being here in Canada. So that's the mentality you have to make sure you come up here with, and know that now, personally, I don't know if things are the same as used to be back in the days. Maybe things have changed. I don't know.
In school?
In school, in terms of school, yes.
Yeah.
But that's usually the way things was, and the most challenging part of it,
Yeah.
you know, for immigrants coming here.
How about churches? Do you think it's different to how people pray and how we worship in Africa compared to how we do it over here?
Yes, yes. It's absolutely different. I feel like, the good thing about African churches, they have a certain connection of knowing this is how we are.
Okay.
So when you go to a different cultural church, they have the way of them representing their church and the program and so on. So you have to make sure you get familiar in not mixing up the way you pray in your church with the way they are in their church. Things might be different. Things might be, characterized differently.
Wow.
And so you have to a difference in terms of they have their own way of going through the service. That involves they might not be just dancing, because I know Africans, we know how to get up there. We know how to move. When the pastors start dancing in front of the church, that's how you know the church is anointed and is moving. The pastors doesn't care. The pastors go on, join the choirs and the group and they're dancing. But here, for the different churches that I've been in, that's definitely one of the different things. How they go through the program. So that's one of the different challenges for things. But we do have African churches here too.
Okay. Do they really worship like the way you used to think it would be when it was in Africa, or it's kind of like influenced by the Canadian culture too?
Well, they have to follow the programs.
Okay.
They have to follow
The
restrictions.
the restrictions of the government, right?
Things like you can't be playing loud music when it's past 11. You know how some people actually go ahead and we worship till 12 1 a.m.
Yeah.
There's rules here. You can't get past 11 p.m. without noise complaint. So if you're around people,
yeah,
you have to make sure you obey that. So before coming to Canada, these are the rules that you have to make sure you know.
So you don't wake up in the morning and play your drums at 5 a.m. with your church.
No. These are the things that you have to make sure you know that you won't be acceptable here. Or else you will you will get letters and letters and.
Yeah. Wow.
So that's the main thing that was very, very different for us being here, and it takes time.
Yeah,
that's one that takes time. In terms of how we came here, because like I mentioned earlier, coming here is a whole new different world now you're living in. You feel like you're in the baby steps.
Oh, so they bring you back as a baby, right?
Bring you back as a baby. So you have to learn how to, for example, take the bus and go to the market. You have to learn to wake up this certain time. This is where the bank opens. This is where this open. This way they close. So you have to make sure you learn all these things so you can fit in the system.
Yeah.
But the most challenging things obviously was getting to know the familiar of things around, in terms of finding addresses, in terms of finding places to just sit and eat and such thing, the house and all that. So, but that's the thing we're gonna talk about mostly later on. But that's the main thing you have to make sure you know that you're not coming here just to you chill. You come here in Canada, you chill, and everything comes to you. No, you have to really work for it.
How does the weather impact to, like, what do you think about the weather? Does it impact to the new immigrant when he comes, you have to wear big jackets when it's cold?
That was one of the difference that you will be noticed right away when that happens. you will be noticed because coming here, um, it's normal. It's a human nature.
Yeah.
You know, you come here, you come from the hot weather, and you come to a weather where it's switch. It's hot, cold, cold, and then warm, and then hot again, and then cold, and it just recycles. So and the cold, really cold.
Yeah.
So I remember when I came here, it was around September, and that time I would see people wearing, um, shirts like this, very small shirts, shorts. People go outside with shorts and having a good time,
Then you tried.
but the whole family will be jacket up, you know, jacket up and everything. So that was also one of the things that was very different because now when you start showing these characters of you uh, feeling the cold and just being yourself, like it's too cold now, they will know you're an immigrant for sure. And in some circumstance, we did face some difficulties in terms of being judged, like
Okay.
because
Okay.
people have
Yeah. Yeah.
different
Yeah. Wow.
ways of people. So you get judged, you feel some type, but those are the majority of things that they qualifies in you being feeling like you're alone and feel like you're not fitting in properly, and that will be very difficult. And I can't lie to you, a lot of immigrant that I've came across during the time I was here, it was the common things. Them feeling very alone, them feeling not well adapting quickly. And it takes time. It takes time, but you have to really make sure you have to expect what to expect here before even coming here. You have to make sure you know what you're coming to deal with. And you know, but overall Canada is a great country. Is a wonderful country. It's the way they care about everyone's well-being. They care about everyone's health. They care about everyone's being in the shelter and just being overall protected. And that's the one thing that stands out the most about being in Canada.
Great.
And but for sure you have to be prepared that it won't be the same as you being in Congo or Nigeria, Uganda. It won't be the same. You
Wow.
will face difficulties job wise,
Yeah.
school on, yeah.